is super important. It doesn't have to be the same for every single person. That doesn't mean you have to eat the same meal every single day. There are variations, but there needs to be some level of prep and plan for every single person. Okay, so let me make this big. Okay. Okay, so the no-fly list before we get this started. I don't have time. Okay, literally don't say it. You are not the busiest person in the world. I know I say this a lot. You have time, you need to make it, right? If you're serious about doing this, which most of you are because you're here and you're committed and you're showing up, you have to make time. I don't understand macros. Well, right? Welcome to me and Coach Steph, and welcome to the group chat. A lot of you will say that, and then I'll ask you if you looked at the ebook on the resources. And no, I printed that out when I was new. Okay, I read it, I highlighted it, not that particular one, but the first coach that I worked with. You have to do some education on your own, right? Especially with the age that we are. Self-knowledge and self-education is super important. If I was to try and learn how to sew tomorrow, I'm going to look it up, right? We have all these amazing devices that can pretty much answer any question we need, right? So yes, we are here for you always, but 90% of the little questions that confuse you guys, you can look up, and for the most part, they're correct, right? Like, I have 40 grams of protein left for the day. What can I eat? You can put that in Google and you can find answers, right? So there's a lot of stuff that you can learn. I can't eat the same thing every day. Now, yes, you can. You will actually not die if you eat the same thing every day. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe it's not as delicious, but if we have goals, there has to be some sacrifice. You can't have everything. You can't eat your pizza and bagels and whatnot and still get to the goals that you want. So make sure that there is some sacrifice on your end with meals. I know I can eat the same thing every day, but I truly think it's yummy. Some people can't, but you can also rotate, right? There's ways around it. I'm not good with recipes. You don't need to make recipes, right? I didn't make one recipe over the summer. My lunches and breakfast now are borderline recipes, right? My lunch has 4 things in it: shrimp, ground chicken, zucchini, and onion cooked on a Blackstone. That's not really a recipe, right? That's just like 4 ingredients thrown together. So you don't need to be, I don't know, a famous chef that I don't know any of them, in order to make this happen, right? You don't need to be cooking 5-star meals. You don't need to be creative, right? Stick to basics. Or I'm not a good cook, right? I'm not either. I make very simple things. I use seasonings and they're pretty good. And you get better with practice, right? Just like you tell your kids to practice things, you do become a better cook at practicing. All right. So we need to make sure we don't let the excuses fly out of our mouth before we try. All right. So kinds of meal prep. There are about like 4. The first one, which I guess is the most thought of when you hear meal prep, is full meal prep, right? You make ready to go meals. I do it. Coach Steph does it. A lot of our girls do it. Right, in containers. Here's my breakfast. It's already made. It needs to go in the microwave. Here's my lunch. It's already made. It needs to go in the microwave. It's already weighed. It's already logged. Right. This is best for people who enjoy routine, who have to go out of the house for work, who don't mind repetition, and don't really have time for like recipe exploration or weighing daily, right? Like I don't have time to sit and weigh my lunch out every day. So I do it one time and that's it. You can do bulk ingredient prep. Some of you guys do this, right? You make large batches of staple items, staple protein, staple carbs, and put different kinds of recipes together using those bulk ingredients. So big batch of ground turkey, big batch of grilled chicken, big batch of barbecued shrimp, big batch of roasted potatoes, big batch of steamed broccoli, big batch of, roasted zucchini. Opie, no, stop it. Opie's eating a screwdriver from my kids' toys. Hey, stop. So you can one day you can have ground turkey with broccoli. The next day you can have chicken breast with roasted potatoes. The next day you can have ground turkey with zucchini or rice or something like that. You could mix and match different ingredients in order to make meals. This allows you some variation. If you're this is good for people who work from home because you are, you're not sitting down and making a recipe from scratch, but you have 10, 15 minutes to put something together while you eat your lunch. This is good for people who enjoy diversity but aren't, also want to make sure life is a little bit simple. And this is also good for people who can have access to a scale when they eat, right? Like it would be a little weird for me to bring a food scale to my classroom and start putting together a ground turkey broccoli bowl, right? So again, these are good for the work from home people, or stay at home moms, or the weekend, anything like that. Or if anyone like works night shift and then can have some of their meals more so at home. All right, so those are the first two kinds: full meal prep, bulk ingredient prep. The next one is pre-made meals. So there's a ton of services that do these, right? You buy the macro meals. We have Healthy Meals Direct. Please don't buy those. You have hummus. You have X Factor. You have Redefine. You have a ton. These are really good for people who travel. Super, super convenient. You can put them in a cooler in the car. You can put them in a cooler on a train. You can put them in a cooler on a carry-on. You can also get them shipped to a hotel. If you know you're going to be on a work conference for a whole week, get 10 meals shipped to a hotel. Again, very good for people who travel. Also very good for emergency meals. So I have 4 in the freezer right now. I know that yesterday we had them because yesterday Rustin has soccer. Rory has soccer at 5:30 to 6:30. Rustin has soccer 6:30 to 7:30. Right in the middle of the day, well, right in the middle of, dinner time, 2 hours long, there and back commute. So we have ready to cook meals in the freezer. They're good for the weekend when plans are going crazy. You need protein. There's your lunch. This should not be an every meal, every day thing. They are high in sodium because they're freezer and fresh, but they're supposed to last in the fridge for at least a week. And they're not made by you. So as much as we can trust the macros, and I do think they're somewhat accurate, we don't know. There is absolutely no way there is the same amount of noodles in each one of their pasta dishes. It's just not. There's no way that the ounces are exactly the same. These chefs are making hundreds of them at a time. There's variation. Okay, so if we want to be as successful as possible, we want to limit variation, limit guessing. So pre-made meals, great for people who travel, great for emergency, shouldn't be an everyday thing. All right, and then the last one is meal planning, right? You're writing out your meals, you're even putting them in your app to make sure they work, but you're actually making them in real time. This is probably only ideal for people who are home 90% of the time. People who work from home, I guess you could technically do this if you just choose quick meals. Stay-at-home parents. Stay-at-home parents can definitely do this if their kids are at school. I can't imagine them doing this if their kids are all little and running around. And it could be a good option for the weekend, right? Plan what you're going to eat, but you have a little bit more time so you can cook it. Now, these can also be mixed and matched, right? Like for my example this week, I did 3 of these, right? I can't go back. I did full meal prep for my breakfast and lunches, Monday through Friday. I did pre-made meals for my dinner on Tuesday. And I did meal planning for my other dinners, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I did 3 out of the 4 of these to be successful for the week. All right, so I tried to do like a timeline of how I go about structuring and figuring out my meal prep. I know I work Monday through Friday. I know not everybody does, but I couldn't possibly make one that fits everybody's schedule. So just try and adjust it for like what your schedule would be, right? So Thursday is when I sit down and I look at the week ahead. What social events do I have? What practices do my kids have? What does work look like? What is going on, right? Because every week is different. Then I write down my meal prep method and items. So I know pretty much always Monday through Friday, I can make a breakfast and a lunch, full meal prepped, bring it to work. I know Tuesdays that I have soccer with the kids, so I'm going to need pre-made meals. This week, tomorrow, I have a cop fundraiser with my husband, so we're not going to have dinner that night, right? We're going to eat it at the fundraiser, so I don't make a dinner that night. Friday, I'll cook. Saturday, I have a birthday dinner. Not going to make dinner that night. So I lay out the plan. Okay? Then I create a grocery list off of that. Friday, I order my bulk groceries for Saturday delivery. Now, I know not everyone orders their groceries, and that's fine. I do suggest it, and you guys know that. Well, your bulk items, because it's super convenient, right? Yes, I know there's a delivery fee, but one, time is money, right? So if you spend 20 minutes driving to Costco, an hour and a half in the store, and 20 minutes back, right? That's a two-hour trip. In that 2 hours, could you have gotten 2 loads of laundry done, dishes done, like all these other things that would have freed up your time? Is that worth $10 of a delivery fee? That's up to you. You have to weigh that out, right? To me, it is. Plus, I don't peruse the shelves. When I go to Costco, I buy more that's on my list. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. When I order it on my phone, if anything, I buy less because not everything is in stock, right? So I save money that way for sure. I order them on Friday. They get delivered Saturday morning. I also stop on the way home and get the pre-made meals if necessary. Saturday morning, Costco comes, I put it away. And I try and go to the actual grocery store on Saturday. I try not to do my prep and grocery shopping in the same day. So I'll go to the grocery store, get some of my produce, get some of my meats, because I don't always order meat from Costco, and have that done. All right, Sunday is definitely my prep day. My kids have soccer at 9 a.m. I try and make it a non-negotiable that I get my one meal done before soccer. So we leave for soccer at 8:40. The kids get up at like 6:45, 7. I pretty much always do my fluffy egg white oats before we leave the house. It gets one meal out of the way, done. Okay. And then we get home and I do the other one. So this is kind of what the week looks like for me in order to make sure prep is not craziness on a Sunday night or Monday night after I get home from work. Okay. Because then Monday, you already didn't eat your meal prep for breakfast and lunch. And who wants to do that after work on a Monday? All right, so these are the steps I take. So, right, I said I look ahead at the week. Are you traveling? Do you have any scheduled meals? Do you have any late night meals? C, right here. Do you have any scheduled meals like luncheons or dinners or dates? Why that is important too is because, and my girls know, tomorrow night, right, we have this fundraiser at the Salt Shack. It's open bar and it's food. I'm not going to drink because I have all these miles to run and I just can't handle booze and running 10 miles the next day. So I'm not going to drink, but I'll probably nibble on some food. Now, if I was going to drink and I was going to eat, I would probably cut out one of my meal preps for the day. I probably wouldn't eat my egg white oats in the morning because that's a pretty heavy carb, right? So looking ahead at these things can really set you up for success, right? Thursday doesn't come, I eat my egg whites, I eat my lunch, I eat my snack, and then I'm like, oh shit, I only have 500 calories left for a fundraiser with open bar and food. I knew that was coming. I planned ahead. I took out my egg white oats. I pushed back my meals. I had my coffee later and I figured it out. Looking at your week really makes a difference. Okay. Figure out how many meals you can and should prep in advance, right? So I wouldn't have made 5 egg white oats if I was drinking tomorrow. I would have made 4 because I wouldn't have eaten on Thursday, right? I didn't meal prep dinner for Thursday because we had the party. I'm not going to meal prep dinner for Tuesday because we have soccer, right? So figure out when you have time. Tonight, me and Tom, we go to couples therapy every other week, and we had that tonight. So I knew dinner had to be fast, right? So it was, I cut up the chicken before we left, prepped the salad. So we got home, I threw the chicken in the air fryer, put it on top of the salad, done. I didn't have a 15 recipe dinner planned for tonight because I knew I had about a 30-minute window. Right. So look ahead at when you're going to be running around, when you'll have more time, plan recipes accordingly. Right? And I know this sounds like a lot of planning, but it does not take long. Right. It really doesn't. You can sit down and do this in like 15 minutes. And it saves so much space in your head during the week.
CJ, can I say something?
Yeah.
I just feel like it's gotten so much easier to meal prep now too, because like I don't know if anybody goes to Trader Joe's, but I love Trader Joe's, and I every time I go there I get like the same key staples, like the things that CJ was talking about. Like I always think of like carbs, fat, protein. So the frozen rice, 3 minute in a bag, heat it up, like takes 3 minutes, it's done. Like the other night I made taco bowls, and the only thing that I literally had to make was the ground beef. Like that's it. And it took me what, 10 minutes? And then I made a ton of ground beef. And then for like, I made two lunches out of the ground beef the days I have higher fat, because we all know I struggle with eating too much fat. So I did that for lunch. And then for the like 2 days, we had the taco bowls, but I went to Trader Joe's. I got a bunch of canned like beans, corn, and it's already like all I had to do was open the can, drain it, dump it in a bowl, and then I save that for the rest of the week. So it's like we made taco bowls last night. Then I made like a grilled chicken bowl with the same stuff because I had grilled chicken prep. So instead of the taco meat, because that the other day, the day that I was eating that, well, that was last night, my fat, like I knew my fat was lower. So I had like the lean grilled chicken. But I just use the same stuff. I shredded lettuce, and then I just use the beans, the corn. Like it doesn't have to be complicated. I feel like I used to spend the whole entire Sunday cooking everything and meal prepping. And then I look at the time and I'm like, that's my whole Sunday. Now it takes me like maybe 2 hours at the most to get everything. And that's everything for the week, like all the dinners, lunches, breakfasts, like everything, which is like nothing.
Yeah. Staple items are huge. Like, I used to make 5 new dinners every week. And I might start in the winter. It's a little different because you're home a little bit more, but that is so time consuming. One of my older friends was literally like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you making new recipes every single day?" Like, that takes brain power to like think of the ingredients, read the recipe, make sure you're doing it right, get new things, find it in the grocery store. Why am I doing this? So my toddler can throw it on the floor? Like, maybe once a week now I'll make something new, but stick to staples. You can make staple meals taste really good, right? Always have 3 kinds of proteins in the house. I always have shrimp, I always have ground chicken, and I chicken breast too, and I always have beef. Those are Buy them every week. I always have zucchini, I always have onions, I always have green beans, and I always have mushrooms, right? And then there's always potatoes and there's always rice in my house. Always, always. You can make so many variations with all of that, and they taste good. Just buy different seasoning packets. Buy the low sodium taco, low sodium carne asada, low sodium street taco, low sodium fajita. Like, they taste different, right? And throw it on there, delicious. Um, right? If you are that kind of person that needs variation, then just figure out how you can vary your stuff without making it so much work for yourself. Okay. Okay. So these are like the first, right? Look ahead at your week. And again, I know things come up, but at least try and make the path of least resistance. Try and make a plan that you're going to hit the least amount of obstacles for. Okay. Look for recipes with a nice macro balance. Now, I send out the recipes every week. They're all macro friendly. Around, 40 carb, 40 protein, 20 fat percentage, or 50-40-10 carb, protein, fat. If that is like foreign language to you, think protein first. Think about a plate, right? With like the sun being the center. What's the center of this meal going to be? Okay, it's going to be chicken breast. Now, what goes around it? Think of a carb. Vegetables are carbs. Potatoes are carbs. Rice are carbs. Fruit is carbs. We don't put fruit with chicken breast. So what carb am I going to do next? Let's do potatoes. Okay. And then for me, I struggle with the fat. opposite for Coach Steph. What kind of fat are we going to do? Are we going to cook it with olive oil? Are we going to put some avocado on it? Are we going to, what the hell's another fat? Eat an almond with it? I don't know. Put mayo on it. Oh God, I'm so not Italian, right? So like, think
Yeah,
of
but
fat last. Fat is usually like an accessory. Okay. You don't search for these crazy recipes. Either stick to the ones I send, or I don't think Anne's on here, but Anne does a really good job of like, she has her Rolodex. Like, Anne is a very good cook and she tries my recipes, but then she like pulls out like one a week that she really likes and she keeps that on repeat. Like, she just told the group the other day that she made the like chicken, the zucchini lasagna zucchini one or something that I love, but I think I sent that back in like March, right? But she likes it. She has it in her Fitness Pal. She uses it, right? So we give a ton of recipes. There are also so many Instagrams with simple macro friendly recipes. Try and use those. And again, if you don't want to follow a recipe, don't. Pick 3 things that are going to go on your plate: ground turkey, beans, and bell peppers. Chop it all together and put it in a pan. There's a great dinner. Okay, delicious. Just weigh it. Right? If you're new to this, keep things simple. Think protein first and then build around it. Okay? A bowl of shrimp, brown rice, and again, an avocado. Delicious. There's like a semi-Mexican shrimp bowl, right? Simple, simple, simple. 3 to 4 things on your plate. Think protein first because we all can eat carbs and fats. The 4th one is a big one, right? And a lot of you guys get hung up on this. You'll be like, I'll like, did you like your numbers will be kind of awry and you'll say you meal prepped. Do not cook the meals until you plug them in because they might be whack for macros, right? Make sure they work first. Don't spend 3 hours in the kitchen and then plug them in and be like, uh-oh, I have 75 grams of carbs left over for the day, right? Or like, shoot, I'm 30 grams carb short in protein, right? Plug them in first. Okay. And save them as recipes in my Fitness Pal so you can use them again. Like I tweak my fluffy egg white oats every week a little bit. Like I'll throw in a little bit more of the oats, or I'll add in PB2, or I'll add in my, whey cinnamon cereal protein. But I have the recipe saved. I make the little tweak and then I log it and make sure that it works. Okay. So try and log your food, even if you have to estimate weights before you spend all that blood, sweat, and tears cooking it. Make sure it works.
but
Right?
you shouldn't be that off if you think like if you do like the way that CJ just said to think like protein, okay, now I need a carb and a fat, like you shouldn't be that crazy off if you use that thinking. You know what I mean? It's if you're not even thinking, then if you're like basing all your like before I ever did this and all my meals were literally just like carbs because my family just eats carbs and fats. Like that's like why I'd be like, wow, I'm eating 20 grams of protein every day. But like if you have that methodology thinking like, okay, I'm gonna do protein, then I'm gonna have a carb and a fat, by the end of the day, it shouldn't be that uneven, you know?
Exactly. And guys, also middle of your plate protein should be like 6 ounces. Like, don't be like, well, I had 7 shrimp. Like, okay, all right, we gotta have like 37 shrimp, right? Like 6 ounces, not 4, 6. Think about 6 because you're probably gonna under. Again, unless you're me, Jamie, or Mindy, we have to think 4 because then we'll eat 8 ounces. Right? But overestimate your protein. Most of you need to. Right? So even if they work, even just an estimate, right? Estimate, put it in there, go for it, make the grocery list, commit. All right. Next, I kind of brought this up before, but you want to look at dinners, right? You got your lunch and your breakfast set. How many dinners can you cook? How many dinners do you need to pick something up? How many dinners do you need to prep ahead of time, but you do have a little bit of time to put it together, right? Like tonight, I prepped ahead. I cut the chicken up. I made the salads. I put them in the fridge. We came back. I cooked the chicken, dumped it on top of the salad, right? So I prepped it ahead of time. Or How many do you actually need to buy meals because you have no time, like yesterday for soccer, right? So I know that going into the week. How many events do you have where you may need to alter your meal prep to fit the nighttime fun? That makes a difference, right? On Friday, I always eat a little bit lighter during the day just in case plans come up at night. So I don't have my English muffin on Fridays because I just save that carb just in case. If things don't come up, lucky me. Maybe I'll have 2 Eggo waffles for dessert, right? Like, but I know Fridays things can come up, so I don't have my English muffin with peanut butter that I normally do Monday through Thursday. Okay? Think about these things, right? Again, road of least resistance. Plan your dinners in advance, keep them simple. Try and save about a quarter of your calories for dinner. So if you're on a 2,000 calorie, so I don't say diet, but yeah, diet from us, maybe around 500 calories for dinner. Okay. And this is if you're new. If you start to learn yourself and you start to learn your eating habits, you can tweak this. So I love big dinners. So I try and save like 700 calories for dinner. Some people do not like big dinners. It messes up their sleep. Maybe they save 400. Okay. But if you are new, try and allocate a fourth of your calories for dinner. It's usually the biggest meal of the day. Um, don't don't save 800, again, unless you're me and a couple other people in this group. But don't also give yourself 200 calories to work with. And try not to have your macros completely unbalanced for dinner, right? You don't want to have 4 grams of protein left, 70 grams of carbs, and 1 gram of fat, because then you're just going to eat a pile of dry pasta, right? Which doesn't sound awful. But right, there should be some balance. But again, this should be happening if you just follow the protein center of the earth and then the rest around it. Again, on Friday, if you can, order your bulk items. It saves money. Yes, there's a delivery fee, but you're going to save time and you're not going to pick up shit from the aisles. And do not go hungry, right? Don't go grocery shopping hungry. It is the worst, one of the worst mistakes you can make. Again, maybe some of you have more willpower than I do, but when I go to the grocery store hungry, I swear I black out and I come home and I'm like, what did I buy? And I'm going to eat it because I don't waste food. So try to eat before you go. Right? Try and do your grocery shopping on Saturday. Have a list. Have a plan. Do not walk into the grocery store with it all up here. Because guess what? You're going to forget things and you're going to buy things you don't need, right? Write stuff down. Get in and get out. Don't make it like this long excursion. Try and stick to the outside of the aisles. I'm again very type A and I write my grocery list according to the aisles it's in. So I have a whole route that I do in, out, see you later. I'm not going to go down the chip aisle because I don't need chips and I'm not going to just salivate looking at them. I'm not going to go down the candy and cracker aisle because I don't need those and I will grab a bag of gummy bears, right? Road with least obstacles. Also, if you have more free time on Saturday, start your prep. Why not? So this weekend, we actually had a pretty relaxed Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon was super busy. And I knew Sunday that we had soccer, and Sunday we were going out to breakfast after soccer for Grandparents' Day. So time was going to be a little bit limited. So on Saturday, I chopped all the zucchini and all the onions for me and my husband for meal prep. It was just one other step. It took me 15 minutes, but it was done and I didn't have to do it for Sunday. I wake up on Sunday, try and make one meal before the day starts. Just get it out while you have your coffee. Make your breakfast. Keep it simple. The egg white oats take 30 minutes max. And I know not everyone eats those, but egg bakes, they don't take that long, right? Okay, now the measuring and logging. We're almost done, I promise. Create a meal or recipe in your tracking app. I can send videos on YouTube on how to do this for you guys. It is way easier. You can save it. You can make little tweaks to it, but you'll never have to do it fully again. Okay. And the more you play around with MyFitnessPal, and the more you play around with Chronometer, the easier it does get. I promise you. I know it's super frustrating in the beginning, but they're really not that hard. It's just a matter of getting used to it. Weigh each ingredient raw, right? So for my shrimp, chicken, zucchini, onion bowls, I weigh everything raw and I put it in. Just make sure it says raw on the app. Don't log it as cooked chicken. Make sure you assign the proper serving size. So when I make my egg white oats, sometimes it's for 5, sometimes it's for 4, right? It depends on how many times I'm going to eat it. So make sure the serving size is correct. And then cook it all together or however it needs to be cooked. Here's where there's 2 options you can pick. You can take the cooked product and put it in 5 similar Tupperwares and assume it's pretty much even because guess what? At the end of the day, you're eating it all. End of the week. So that's what I do. I have 5 Tupperwares that are the same. I scoop out the food and I put it in there. There is no way that the same amount of onions is in each one. There's no way the same amount of shrimp is in each one. But by Friday, I've eaten it all. So yeah, maybe some days my macros are a little bit under, but some days my macros are a little bit over. It all evens out. I'm not going to spend another 20 minutes making sure I have the same amount of onions and the same amount of chicken because I cook it all together. I don't cook it separate. If I cooked it separate, no big deal, but we cook it all together on the Blackstone. So again, at the end of the week, it's all in, I digested it all anyway. The second option, I could potentially throw all those ingredients in a bowl, weigh the cooked option, divide it by 5, and then make sure each Tupperware has that weight in it. Now, it still wouldn't be the same exact onions or shrimp ratio, but it would be at least the same exact weight, right? I would definitely not recommend pulling it all apart, weighing the onions, putting each onion, like 20 grams of onion in each bowl, pulling all the shrimp out, weighing all the shrimp. Again, because you're the one eating it all, you don't have to get that specific. Log it in your app and then just copy it, right? On both apps, MyFitnessPal and Chronometer, you can just copy day before, copy previous day, copy previous day. So you can make one meal and log it 5 times in a row in a matter of 5 seconds. Right? So on Sunday, I logged my breakfast and lunch till Friday. I actually haven't touched my app unless it was for dinner this whole week. Okay. Make it simple. This is a fun game I like to play. So the leftovers, meaning leftover macros. Not every day is gonna be perfect. You guys are actually super impressive, and more of you guys get 000s at the end of your day than I ever have. But I'll have like 7 grams of carbs, 4 grams of protein, 9 grams of fat. Right? I play what's in the dessert bowl. I make a bowl and I throw random stuff in it until macros are pretty much even, right? Plus or minus 5. So if you need carbs, add some fruit. If you need yogurt, add some protein. If you need carbs and protein, add yogurt with fruit. If you need a carb and a fat, put some chocolate on it. If you need another carb and a fat, granola is a great option. If you need more protein, again, cottage cheese is a great option. Jello is a good carb, sugar-free. And whipped cream is another good option for carbs and fats. So you can play around. You can throw 1 almond in for a fat. You can throw random stuff again in the bowl, and it usually comes out pretty delicious. I've never not once liked my little end of the night leftover macro bowl. Okay, but that's a good thing. Just for like, again, the last couple of grams. You don't want to have a 400 calorie yogurt bowl at the end of the night. All right. And then I think this is the last one. Yeah. Weekends. If you have plans, try and cut out a meal. All right. And I've told you all this. If you have plans, no matter, whoa, oh man, I didn't want you guys to see that yet. You can cut out breakfast or lunch, but no matter what, push it back. So if you like breakfast food better, eat it at 11 or 12. If you like lunch food better, eat it at 12 or 1, right? Try and cut out one of your major meals so your dinner or your event, you have double the calories for. All right, again, this is my example for tomorrow. If I was going to eat dinner and drink at this fundraiser tomorrow, I would cut out my breakfast. I would eat my normal lunch. I would have my coffee. I might have a second coffee or more water. And then I would save double calories for this event. Doesn't mean you go in like eating whatever and drinking whatever you want, but it provides you a cushion, right? Let's say you go there and you actually decide, yeah, I'm actually not going to drink and the food stinks. You can go home and eat. You can go home and have a mega dessert bowl, right? There's other options. So try and cut out that one meal, push back your eating window. Make sure that meal is super high protein, the one that you are eating before you go. Like you guys have all seen, I eat 2 cartons of egg whites sometimes. Make it high protein. Get your protein in. Do not have a bagel with eggs. That's 80 grams of carbs you're wasting. Don't have Kodiak pancakes. Don't have things like that. It should be almost straight protein. Okay. 12 ounces of grilled chicken on a salad. That's okay. Okay. Don't have protein, carbs and fats if you're going to go out. Try and still track. Estimating is better than zero. A lot of us like to play the game of it didn't happen. It was bad, so it didn't happen. Not going to track it. Not going to log it. Right? Like just because you didn't log it doesn't mean it didn't happen. If you have to go back and just make the most random estimations, at least do it. Try it. MyFitnessPal has everything under the sun in there. Just guess. Right?
But those are that I think those things make a big deal too. Like if you do it every once in a while, I know that's why you call them like like BLTs. Like the things you throw in your mouth randomly that you think is not a big deal is a big deal because I mean I know I keep talking about fat because I have so many issues with that because I always cooked with like a ton of olive oil and that's just how I grew up. But even like I love peanut butter and I love the peanut butter pretzels like and I would just like throw them in my mouth here and there. And then when I actually started weighing them, I was like, holy shit, this is like 60 grams of fat. And you don't even realize it. And then that I feel like is the reason why sometimes you're so frustrated that things aren't changing and you feel like you're doing everything right. But it's like those tiny little things, even like coffee creamer. If you have your coffee and you just think you're like, I'll just put a little in and you don't even weigh it or you don't log it, it makes a difference, even though it's so tiny.
Exactly. Right? Like coffee creamer every single day of your life makes a difference, right? So get used to it. Even if you do throw something in your mouth and you don't weigh it, guess what was that, right? Like was it one peanut butter pretzel? That's probably like 15 calories, 20 calories, but was it 7? So if you forget to weigh something, doesn't mean it can't enter your MyFitnessPal. You can guess.
Right.
Um, if you have no plans on the weekends, which I know is super rare, but don't think it's the weekend and you have to eat out, right? You can stay home, you can cook, you can make a crazy great meal prep on a Saturday and be done for the week. So stick to the basics. Don't force yourself to eat out. Don't force yourself to have a drink if you really have no plans, right? If 7 days in a row consistency is major, that helps you for the days that aren't, right? I think I talked to Mindy about this, where if you're someone that does travel or does have these like awesome life experiences that you get to have, I want you to enjoy them 1000%. This is why we do this, right? It's about really enjoying life. But that means on the days you don't have things, you have to be perfect, right? If you're traveling once a month or you're doing things every single Saturday, I want you to enjoy those. But that means Sunday through Friday, you have to be on your shit. Because if you travel every other weekend or you do something, pretty big every other weekend, but then on Tuesday you were a little off and on Thursday you were a little off and then next Wednesday you were a little off, it really starts to add up and you can't enjoy those things as much because you're also not being consistent on the days that are easy, right? So again, I'll keep using this fundraiser, right? If I really wanted to blow it out tomorrow night at this fundraiser, I could. But I would have to be on my shit Monday, on my stuff Tuesday, on Wednesday, on it Friday, on it Saturday, probably on it Sunday, maybe a little bit less on a weekend. But like you have to make sure the days that aren't filled with stuff, they have to be good. Because you don't get that window of freedom, right? You have to be consistent. You have to hit your numbers on the days where there's no obstacles, right? If you're falling short on the days where it's smooth water, what are you going to do when it gets a little rocky, right? That's when you need Okay, today's a little hard. I'm not gonna hit my numbers today, but that's okay because the past 6 days I've nailed it. All right, so make sure we're consistent on the days when we have the least amount of obstacles. And then I ruined my fun surprise slide at the end. Plan and prep your damn food. Enough with that. I don't have time. And not to call anyone out, Jackie. Stop forgetting your lunches. Come on. I'm gonna have to like do those like leash kid backpacks with your lunch boxes on you. Bring them. I get that some people work in an office and people actually eat people's food in the office, which would actually probably land me on News 12 because I would kill someone. But if possible, mini fridges are not that expensive. I got a mini fridge in my classroom because I don't trust the faculty room. So invest in that, or literally put a reminder like on your hand. Lunch, don't forget it. You guys work hard to prep. Okay, so that's it for my spiel. Do you guys have questions on meal prep or like how to think of ideas, how to think of recipes, or anything that's like been boggling or confusing you?
I have an issue.
Who doesn't? Just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay, so I plan most of my stuff. It's in there. I know what I want. But then what happens is I get home and I'm like, I don't feel like having my Ninja Creamy tonight. And then I'm like 200 calories over. So like, what do I do then?
Okay, my bitchy answer is gonna be like, suck it up and effing eat your Ninja
Eat
Creamy.
it?
It's not like you're eating Brussels sprouts here. Just kidding. Maybe have like, and you'll get better at this, I think, Dee. Like as time goes on, you'll be able to like kind of create backup options for yourself. Now, if
Okay.
it's because you're not hungry at all, then maybe realize that, okay, when I get home from Zumba, I actually kind of just want to chill and go to bed. I don't want to eat a meal. So leave yourself like 50 calories for a little snack or like a little like
Okay.
couple Hershey kisses. But if it's because you don't want that particular thing, maybe like start to think of like give yourself like easy two like dessert options that you can like maybe go back and forth between.
Okay.
Just and you
Yeah, I should make a backup plan because like tonight I'm just eating now and then I'm like, I don't feel like making that big pint. And it's not a full pint, but yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I should like have a backup plan of different snack.
but that's good. Yeah, you're right. It's 7:45. You're eating your dinner. I probably wouldn't
Hmm.
want to make that either. So maybe, you know, like either I don't know how the creamy works, pre-make it or have like 5 Hershey Kisses in in like that you
Instead.
have instead. Yeah.
Yeah,
Easy.
because that's not
Take the
going to be
wrapper
filling.
off. Right.
That's a good idea because I always have Hershey Kisses and Sour Patch Kids.
I remember you said that. That's why I said that.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you.
no problem. But I think a lot of people probably feel like that happens to people. They just like at the moment, then they're like, I don't want to eat this anymore. So
Hmm.
try and have some plan. I don't think any of you guys would like dump food that's already made either. So if you maybe it's already made, you'll just be like, all right, I'm gonna eat it. I'm not gonna throw it in the garbage. So that might be a thing too to help you. But I don't really know how that fancy thing works.
But also maybe try to make something you look forward to. Like this week, I look forward to all my lunches. Like the way I made them, I can't wait to eat my lunch
Yeah.
because I'm also a person by like Friday. I'm like, all right, I need something else. But that's why I
Hmm.
kind of like this week I did 3 days of ground chicken and like different stuff, and then 2 days a week I did like ground beef, and I just like did it different. So I'm like, ooh, today I have this. I'm excited, and then tomorrow I have something else, like something that you're like excited to look forward to eating, and maybe that'll make your change it up a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. But having a better backup plan is definitely what I need to work on.
Yeah. Anybody else? What about